a lot of great discussion so far, Brian, as we've talked over the past couple of weeks, getting ready for week 0 and week 1, specifically in the SEC. We know there's an SEC team playing in week 0 with Vanderbilt and Hawaii. But before we jump into that, here's how we're gonna gift the people this. So we're gonna say that we know there's all SEC fans basically watching this stuff. But if you're an SEC fan, my guess is sometimes you're gonna bet non-SEC games. So because we have Brian, who is a 2-decade plus veteran here of the betting sphere, Brian's going to kind of give his thoughts on some other games too, especially when you look at this week 0 slate, which is again not one that's very filled with maybe the most appealing matchups for SEC fans. But I know, Brian, you mentioned you are interested in a couple different plays here outside the SEC in week 0.
Yep. We've already talked about how I like Hawaii Vandy over, and I believe I mentioned, I forget if we talked about it 2 weeks ago or last week or maybe a little both, but it was, in that 54-55 range, and I suspected it was going to get to 56, which is a multiple of 7, so a very key number on a total, just like for sides 3, 7, 10, 14, etc. So it looks like there's only 155.5 left out there. That's at the South Point. Most books at 56, but Circa has moved to 56.5, and I see one offshore, or Caesars also is 56.5, and one offshore is 56.5. So if you agree with my thought process and like the over, I hope you already got it. But if not, make sure you get it at 56 or less, or if it's 56.5, I'd buy the half point to the key number of 56, just in case it hits right on there. 9 times 7 being 56, there, certainly is that chance. Also have 2 other plays in week 0. I'm on Navy plus 21, and Notre Dame has moved to 21 at quite a few books. There's still some 20.5s. If you agree with my thinking, you're going with Navy and your number's 20.5, I would buy the half point for minus 120 juice to 21. Some of my thinking on Navy, they did go 4-8 last year and got rid of their coach, but they were 6-0 against the spread as a double-digit underdog. In their last 13 as a double-digit underdog, they're 11-2 against the spread. They only lost by more than 21 one time last year, and in the last 31 games, they've only lost by more than 21 3 times. And if Notre Dame had been favored by exactly 21 in the last 21 head-to-head meetings with Navy would be 14-6-1 ATS. So I think Sam Hartman's a major upgrade at quarterback for Notre Dame. I think they are going to be a little better. But remember, this is a team that lost outright to a horrible Stanford team and to Marshall at home last year, and they lost their stud tight end. I think Hartman's going to have a big year. I think Notre Dame is going to win, but I think they win by 14, 17, or even 20, or 20 or fewer is obviously what we're looking for here. The only one that I've added here the last couple of days, I added New Mexico State yesterday when they dipped down to 6. They had been, they opened 9.5. Now, granted, that was months ago, and they're at home to UMass, by the way. And it had been steadily moving down, and all of a sudden jumped from 7.5 to 6.5 at a lot of books. I think I said yesterday. I meant to say Tuesday, and I actually took the bait yesterday and bet them minus 6.5. So here is some reasoning why. And also, it's back up to 7, but as long as it's 7 or less, I'm still bullish on Jerry Kill's New Mexico State Aggies. So they went 2-10 in 2021, but then they hired Jerry Kill, the former head coach at Minnesota and Northern Illinois, and they made a 5-win jump last year. They finished 7-6 straight up, 8-5 against the spread, and they actually started 1-5, but they won 6 of their last 7 regular season games, and in those 6 wins, they won by double-digit margins 5 times, including a 49 to 14 win at Liberty as a 24.5-point road underdog. And then they won their bowl game over Bowling Green. And New Mexico State brings back 9 starters on offense and 4 on defense, including their dual threat quarterback, Diego Pavia, who ran for 508 yards, 6 touchdowns, 5.5 yards per carry last year. And he also threw 13 touchdown passes compared to only 2 interceptions in their last 6 games. So he got hot late in the year throwing it, and he's a good dual threat guy. UMass, on the other hand, 1-11 straight up last year. Their only outright win over an FCS foe, Stony Brook, and they lost by double digits 9 times. They lost by 17 or more 8 times, and they have lost by double digits to New Mexico State each of the last 2 years, 23-13 in Amherst last year and 44-27 in Las Cruces 2 years ago. So I'm going to go with New Mexico State -6.5 is what I got it, but I'm okay with it at -7. And those are my 3 week 0 picks: Navy +21, Hawaii Vandy over, hopefully less than 56, but no higher than 56, and New Mexico State -7 or fewer.